Good evening and welcome along to another FM21 live stream from Dundee United with me, Daniel. It's part 28 and we're back in Europe this evening because we've got plenty to look forward to. We've got an enjoyable evening to come, we've got some big games to come, and we're also a little bit closer to home than we expected to be when we return to Europe. So thank you to those of you that are waiting already and for the thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Come and get involved in the chat, come and chuck a thumbs up on it. And come and let me know who your team's playing this evening. Because Luton have got a big game at Nottingham Forest. And I'm interested to know who you guys have got as well. Thank you for all your support on the recent videos and over on the podcast channel too. As today, we'll be facing Motherwell at home, Shamrock Rovers in the Europa Conference at home, Celtic away, Ayr at home, and hopefully Dunfermline away as well. It leaves us then with a little bit of a nothing spell until we get to the league split for the last 5 games, and then that should be the final episode, depending on how we do in Europe. So it's going to be a big evening for us. There are a few fitness problems and concerns, so we're not going to get too excited. And we've not been perfect in the games off camera, as it just came crashing back in the last game, but we're getting a bit more consistent, so there are some positives there. Andrew Green, good evening. Thank you for popping in as always, pal. I do appreciate it. Lovely to have you along this evening. You're one of the early birds today, which makes a change as well. You're normally like me, the stumbling to get up on time. I hope you're well though, pal. Thank you to everyone joining in as well. Lovely to have a few of you waiting before we started. And then we'll just talk you quickly through the 3 games off camera as well before we get into it. So firstly, we played at home to St Mirren. It was a comfortable 3-0 win. Jack Byrne got a goal. Mark McNulty a brace off the bench. A 2-0 win against St Johnstone. Shankland and Dembele with those. And then a 1-1 draw at Hamilton. We were pegged back late on. And I wonder if that's going to put us in a spot of bother. However, we are, for about the first time this season, now in 3rd place and with it in our hands. We played the same as Motherwell, who are 1 point behind us. And we've played less than Aberdeen and Hibs, who aren't just far behind that. So there are some positive signs. Charlie Rett's favourite player from the Luton -30 season. You want me to say Michael Spillane because you're interviewing him tomorrow, but I'm not going to. I used to really like Asa Hall, and he's still doing it at Torquay. But I don't know that he'd be my favourite. I think every Luton fan, realistically, would say Ian Roper, because that semi-final and the chant of the team of Ian Ropers came from the most gargantuan performance you've ever seen. So, gotta be. Tom, good evening. Thank you for popping in as always. Do appreciate it. Greeny, only because I saw your boat on my Instagram. The pre-match selfies are getting in there. Charlie, Paul Lambert already held for Celtic in the summer. Do you know what? This is going to surprise you. I would go for Paul Lambert. And the reason being, I think he suits the Celtic squad better. I think because he's a Celtic legend, he's going to get them on board very quickly. They'll give him a bit of time and support because they know him as a player. So, I mean, we've said this the same with EFL clubs, with Premier League clubs, with non-league clubs. Until the nonsense off the pitch with Celtic is sorted, it probably won't happen. It doesn't matter who's in charge. It's not going to be exciting times again. Tom Nakpa, surely. Not for me. I know he's that goal, but apart from that, it's got to be Ian Roper. It has to be. Chris Martin was a few favourites. Tom Craddock, a few used to like. I'm trying to think who else we had then that I would compete with. I mean, Keith Keane was always a favourite, as was Jake Howes for obvious reasons. But yeah, for me, it'd be one of those two. Thank you to everyone coming in. Lovely to have you along this evening. Appreciate you joining in so early. We've got some big games to come, and we've got some big problems ahead of this first game. Because it's a Scottish Cup tie against Motherwell, and I now don't know what to prioritise. Because if we have a look at the Scottish Cup, we're into the final 8. Celtic are already out. Rangers have got Morton, so they're probably going to get through. But this is a really good chance to win a competition. However, looking at the other side of it, the Europa Conference, the prize money, can we turn it down? Or do I risk that the reserves can get past Shamrock Rovers? I don't know. But the problem I have, as you can see, everyone bar Dembele has a heavy match load. We've got a few players who are just absolutely shattered. And I don't think we win if they play. So I'm going to rotate half and half. I don't know if we have a backup left back, so Mitchell might have to start, because Boyes isn't good enough. In midfield, this is where we could have done with Mockery, but I think we'll stick roughly for what we've got. We're going to go O'Reilly out into centre midfield for Mallon. He'll play alongside McCann. Berners the number 10. Dembele will be on the wings with the returning Duffy. As tempted as I was to bring Cornick in, or maybe even Mason Bennett. Let's bring Mason Bennett back. Bennett left, Dembele right. Duffy back onto the bench instead of Mallon. I'm going to regret that. Oh, I don't know what else to do. Who do I take out? I feel like I've got to rest some, but I know we're not going to win if I keep doing it. I'm going to stick with that. Let me know if you think it's right or not. But thank you to everyone coming in as well. Greeny Tom Craddock, you've gone for. Charlie Kevin Nichols, not in that stage. Tyler wasn't there that season, Tom. It was Dean Brill, Conrad Logan. Who was the other one? We had one other one at some point. Can't remember. They were the main two. Yeah, Tyler the following year, Charlie, from the National League. Same as... Oh, the only other one I guess you could put in the League 2 boat was possibly Pilkin, and he was very good. But he was better later seasons. But that back four, that trophy final that you're going to be talking to Spillane about, alongside him and Eda Safwa-Jay, he was that experienced rock that got them through it. So, arguably, you could say he was one of the most crucial. It might have been David Button-Green. I think you're spot on, actually. He was on the bench for the trophy final, was he not? Let's have a look. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, he was on loan there. He was on the bench for the trophy final. It was his last game at the club, absolutely. He was playing for England under-20s at the time. Shows how good he was. Kevin Gallen, he was National League only as well. Jacob, get Graham a striker. Graham Potter, yeah, absolutely. You've got to feel for him a bit, haven't you? Thank you to everyone coming in as well. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. It does make a difference. And let's go and get into the first game. I've got to put a keeper on the bench, so Nathan Baxter will be that man. It's been a bit of a disappointment since coming in. But we are... I think this shows it. We're resting Mallon and Mengi, and we look threadbare. That's all it takes. So, we're in a spot of bother, but we're going to go and get into it. It's the Scottish Cup quarter-final, and we have to risk people, because these next two games are two potential chances to win a trophy. The SPL doesn't do that. Stuart, do you ever share tactics, as I love the way Dean and Duffy play in the Bangor series? I have absolutely no problem sharing the tactics. It's not something I've ever been asked before, because my tactics aren't normally that successful. The one thing I would give a warning for the Bangor save is it took probably 3 seasons for that to start to work. I know Fanny Ann was always good before that, but the succession of players before it were poor. I don't really know what has caused them to be so good. I think it led on from a Macclesfield series I did towards the end of FM20 and then the Cliftonville one, where I just, for the first time ever, I played with 2 little men up front and just did advance forward poacher. And generally it seems to be really effective. I haven't done anything hugely special with them individually, but yeah, I'm more than happy to share it. Imagine if VAR's in a championship next season, Luton getting robbed. Yeah, we're not having that. I've said this many a time. I'd rather referees make mistakes. And I don't think, given the financial climate, a lot of the teams would vote it in a championship now. So I couldn't see it happening. But yeah, fingers crossed, we don't have to worry about that. That touchline tablet, every time you load a new FM game up, it's moved its way over. As Bennett flicks on a throw-in, we're trying to get on the front foot early here. Can we get the opener? Can we settle the nerves? O'Reilly back to Finley. I was going to say we were looking great defensively till the end of the Hamilton game off camera last, where we gave away the late equaliser. As Mitchell gets it in, Bennett's here. Can he be a hero? Back to Dembele. 1-0 up, 4 minutes gone. And the Scottish Cup's quarter-final is looking very promising so far. Thank you to everyone popping in. Hopefully you're about to see us reach a semi-final. And if we can avoid Rangers, looking at the other teams left, we should be favourites for the final. Whether we avoid Rangers, though, is another thing. As it's a throw-in from Reed at left-back to O'Hara. They're trying to play out from the back here. It's not going well, as you can see there. It's absolutely woeful. O'Reilly picks it up from Shanklin, playing deeper today. 1-2 with Bennett. I think Shanklin was off. He was. The original through ball was offside. So it remains 1-0, but a really promising start. I haven't met someone who has thought VAR is a great addition. I agree. However, there are a huge number of people who are, let's say, what's the polite term of putting it? Disgruntled with referees before and suggesting it would be a great addition. And a lot of people have turned their mind once they've seen it. We've gone 2-0 up, but for us who were against it from the start, I think everyone else is starting to see why now. Because it's still decisions being made by humans. The lines for offside are being drawn by humans. The decisions on whether it's a clear and obvious error are being made by humans. Just because they're seeing it on a screen doesn't make it any more assisted. It just means they're looking at it more. And if you look at something enough times, you can look at anything. It gives you a false sort of situation, doesn't it? It gives you a false thought. You can read a document 10 times, and even if it's utterly incorrect and infactual, you can convince yourself it's true if you read it enough times. It's as simple as that. So you can't blame the referees, but their standards being dragged down by VAR. It doesn't help that Mike Riley isn't perhaps the most supportive head. But yeah, it just takes away the human side of the game. It becomes a bit robotic. And I've got to say, I'm not enjoying watching Premier League football as much this year. Watching people standing, staring at a screen for 3 minutes, it's no entertainment either. It's sort of ruining the product. So I can see it changing drastically or not being there longer term, unless they mic refs up, which benefits the refs more than anyone. Works brilliantly in Australia. We interviewed a ref, Bobby Madley, on the podcast a couple of years ago. And he did it for a pre-season Premier League tournament. You know, one of the ones they play out in the Far East. And he said it was so liberating because the first game, all of the players were doing the usual, swearing in his face and all of that lot. By the second game, the TV networks had complained. The teams cut it out. So it made such a difference for the refs. And you got a bit more of a sympathy for the pace they're moving at and what they're having to deal with. So I'd love to see that come in. Talking of refs, Tom, did you hear Dermot Gallagher's Irish accent? I didn't. When Dermot Gallagher comes on the TV, I mean, I don't watch a huge amount of Sky Sports News now. Because even Soccer Saturday's got worse, so I watch Football Focus. But, not Football Focus, sorry, Final Score. But, no, I'm not a big fan of watching Dermot Gallagher. VAR isn't a bad idea, but it should only be used for situations like a tackle or violent conduct. Not this offside handball stuff. Yeah, but even if it's for a tackle or violent conduct, it's still a human referee making a decision. It doesn't really solve the problem in my eyes. We've just gone 3-0 up with Mason Bennett, so I'm going to rest the two tired legs out here. Mitchell's going to be replaced by Sporrell, and Ali McCann is going to be replaced by Glenn Ray. He'll become a centre midfielder on defend. We have got one more sub, so we'll wait and see who to rest. Normally I would say Shankland or Dembele, because Dembele's coming back to fitness. But then Shankland is the one we've got to look after, really. So we'll see which one it is in 5 or 10. But thank you for everyone coming in and getting involved in the chat. Please chuck a thumbs up if you haven't already. Come and say hello. Let us know who you're supporting today and who your team have got this midweek. I've got to say a big thanks for the support on the podcast channel as well. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers now. We had a massive success yesterday with Sheffield Wednesday. And the Ipswich episode's just come out. As Cole gets it in, it's 3-1. And maybe we've got excited too soon here. And our final sub has been made for us. Because Mason Bennett's got a knock. So we will see the return of Michael Duffy. Despite Harry Cornick sitting on the bench. An absolute hero from the weekend as well with Luton in real life. Oh, they've got another corner. This is about to go bad. Oh, it's off the line and just wide. We've seen this before with Dundee United. There is no side better than ours at a proper defensive collapse late on. So we're going to keep an eye on this because they've thrown everyone forward and we can't cope with it. Cole gets the cross into the back post. Oh, what's the keeper doing? Segrist in no man's land. Matheson nearly gives away a penalty. I just need a breather. We've got to make a tactical tweak. We're going to go a bit more defensive and hopefully it'll pay off for us. Before VAR, the luck would usually even out in terms of getting robbed by referee decisions. And let's be honest, looking back at it now, which a lot of fans don't want to do, were there actually that many errors in the grand scheme of things? I don't think there were. I never thought there were. So that's what I would say. We're going to put Burn in centre mid as a box-to-box. Ray's going to go in as an anchor man. Just give us that extra bit of solidity there. We're going to drop the wing-backs to defensive duties. because I don't want them getting caught up pitch, and Sporrell needs the protection he can get. The other two midfielders are going to drop. We're just going to play 4-1-4-1. Just try and get a bit of a grip back of this game. We're going to go to balanced. We're going to play out of defence. That's fine. I guess we could still focus out wide, but we're not going to. We'll try and keep the ball. What else can we do? We're going to slow the pace down. In fact, we are going to time waste. Do you know what? It's ugly, but it's 3-1. Let's just try and do it. 2 banks of 4. Ray in between. Let's hold our shape when we win it. Let's drop the defensive line. And let's make sure that we are in the hat for the semi-final here. Because this is a massive moment. And with Motherwell taking a momentum, pushing 4 men up like that, we've got to try and stifle the game, which it seems we've done. The highlights are just sort of stopping there. And we've made it all the way to stoppage time. We've done exactly what we needed to. And tactical awareness, not always my forte, but today it is. And I'm almost breaking a chair at the same time. Jacob, Segrist in no man's land. Why does that not surprise me? Because it happens every week. Every single week he gets caught. I should have played Baxter, really. But overall, taking away the last 25 minutes, brilliant performance. It's just about whether the lads are fresh for the midweek game, because Shamrock's a big one too, and whether Mason Bennett's injury's bad. So we're going to say well done. We're going to move on to Thursday night, and hopefully we avoid Rangers in the semi-final. Because if we do, we might win the Scottish Cup. And who would have thought it in real life on Sunday? St Johnstone, the first side to interrupt the dominance of the Old Firm. John, good evening. Hope I haven't missed anything exciting. I don't think you've missed too many. That was a pretty routine game in the end. We win 3-1 against Motherwell in the Scottish Cup quarter-final. We've got a few fitness concerns, which we always have. And we've got a big Europa Conference last 16 game against Shamrock Rovers coming up next. And what I didn't realise about the last 16 and the last 32 of that competition is they're one leg. Oh no, Mason Bennett's out a month. It's a shame because when he has played for us so far, he's been really good. But my worry is his fitness record's poor. And I don't want to spend on him in the summer if he's not going to be that reliable. But let me show you this very quickly because we're going to get into the next game. And I guess the Winter World Cup years worked out for us. Maybe that's why they're one leg. Because I'm sure with Bangor City, they were two-legged ties. Over in the other Build a Nation series. So I'm sure I'm not making that up. Let's have a look at their key player quickly. Oh, wow. They're very good. He's better than Sporrell. I'm going to scout him. We're coming up against him. We might as well. It's a natural occurrence. Reece Marshall, this is the one that's at Glentoran in real life. I'm sure he went there in January. He was at Glenarvan before that. It's a good defender, actually. Glentoran Linfield on BBC tonight on the iPlayer. Big game to watch. Luton on the laptop, Glentoran on the TV. So we'll see how they get on against Linfield. Thank you to everyone coming in as well. Lovely to be in double figures again. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't yet. Tom, dominance of the Old Firm or Celtic? Well, Celtic recent years and what will be the Old Firm afterwards, I guess. How have Shamrock Rovers managed to get to that stage? Shows how weak the Conference League is. No, it's not that, Jacob. It's the same as the Bangor City Build a Nation because the Irish League's a playable league. So they've got an advantage of having all real players. But they've got some good ones. Like Ali Coots moved over there, our former youth player. Was at Waterford before and Brentford. But they've got, I guess, look at their wage bill. It's not a million miles off ours. Hamilton's Conor O'Malley has moved back over to Ireland, to Shamrock. Aidan White, is that the former Leeds one? It is. Former Hearts player in the SPL. They've got a good side here. They've really invested well. Why can't one of the Welsh sides do this in our Build a Nation? I mean, look at those stats. Conor Noss up front. He's come from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Straight to Shamrock Rovers. And he's scoring 1 in 2 in the Europa Conference. Robbie Benson we know. That's a name I know well. He's a very good footballer. There's some really good players in this team. This isn't as much the slam dunk as we thought it was. I mean, Neil Ferrugia is the best player there. He's the only one with that star player rating. But there are some properly good footballers in that side. You've got to give it to him. I mean, look at that. He's a squad player. Dylan Watts, they're not far off our ability here. No wonder they're doing so well. I think it's one leg because it's Qatar World Cup year. Yeah, it's starting to look like it. So I'm sure in the Bangor save, the one time we got past the groups, I'm sure that the knockout tie was 2 legs. And obviously because I don't know actually, we've gone to what I think is the second knockout round, have we? So I don't really know how it works, because some teams go straight into the first, some the second. Did we win the group? I can't remember. How many points did we get? 2 draws, 3 draws, 3... Yeah, so we must have won the group. So that's why. So the group runners-up and the teams that drop out of the Europa League play each other in the first knockout round. And then the group winners go straight to the second. What it actually means, though, is we miss out on a bit of prize money, if anything. I wonder what the prize money is for this. Because the Scottish Cup you just saw, the quarter-final was £15,000. Let's have a look at this by comparison. So, second knockout round, just for appearing in the round, is $320,000. So you can see for leagues like the SPL and those sort of 3rd to 5th teams next year, you can see with the Northern Irish teams and that, if they can make the group stages or the knockout rounds, it's going to be massive for them. Not even TNS would be able to invest that well with that money. To be fair though, like we had it with Dorking last year in a long-term story, where we ended up 18 years in, they were in our Europa Conference group with Lionel Messi in charge, and they qualified with us, first and second. Even this year, in the head coach, TNS are in the group stages of the Europa Conference. Now, I know that's because they probably start in the Champions League as league winners and then drop down, filter through. But still, the fact that they're not putting in the effort and investing is disappointing. So there you go. But yeah, it is a surprise to see. I'm really excited about this competition in real life. Based on seeing what it can do in FM, what it could do would be amazing. Let's see. I don't want to put anyone in the reserves really, because I want everyone fit for this game in midweek. In fact, I'll tell you what we will do. We'll put Duffy in there for 45, just to build up a bit of fitness. And actually, Newman, the young keeper, he can go in there. The rest we'll leave as is for now. Tom, what position in the Premier League gets Europa Conference? 8th. No, it's 7th. It's what was 7th. So the last old Europa League spot will go to it. So there's no more qualification spots from England or from like the big nations. It's just that the last one goes to the Europa Conference instead of the Europa League qualifiers. Oh, that's lovely. We get no TV money. Right, here's the big moment. We are the second biggest side left on paper in the Scottish Cup. Ayr United are first out the hat. We'll take them or St Mirren. We do not want Rangers. Ayr have drawn Rangers. So, we have got St Mirren in a semi-final of the Scottish Cup. And if we win it, we've got our second cup final of the series. Don't forget, we won the League Cup the first season. It was a dreamboat back then. We had a flying finish against Celtic in that final. But now, it's a real opportunity. And it's going to give me a balancing act. Yeah, Jacob, 7-4 Carabao Cup winner. Same as previous. I think if it's the Carabao Cup winner in the Premier League, do they not take what would have been 5th or 6th? So they go straight into the group stages of Europa League and then 6th becomes 7th, essentially. I'll have a look on here in a minute. Gary, so I can watch this on my TV. Now I need to figure out how to do the live chat. I don't know if you can do live chat on the TV. I'm pretty sure you can't, from others that I've watched, but if you can find it out, then absolutely brilliant. But thank you for popping in either way. It does make a difference. Thank you to everyone for the thumbs up as well. Thank you for coming and getting involved. We had a massive milestone yesterday as well. We passed 2,300 subscribers, which is 1,000 since the new game came out. So it's almost doubled in size in 3 months. It's ridiculous. So thank you for your incredible support. Shamrock top of the Irish Premier League again. I guess that's one benefit we have got. They're only 3 games into their season. So it could be a case that they're not quite up to speed yet. And look, TNS 20 points clear up there. The side they've got in this save, in comparison, is ridiculous. It does frustrate me. So what we've got basically, we've got Shamrock Rovers in the Europa Conference. Then we've got 5 days to Ayr United. And in between it, inexplicably, after 48 hours, we've got Celtic. So I'm going to rest the whole team against Celtic. We've done it against Celtic and Rangers largely to pretty good success this year. And it's worked out quite well. So I'm going to try and stick with the same. You can view live chat on TV, just can't add to it. I didn't even know you could view it. So there you go. There's something added on. Gary, if you shout loud enough, I'll be able to hear you. Let's crack on to the Europa Conference. It's got to be a big one. I think I'm going to prioritise the cups. I know we might get sacked if we don't finish third. But the chance to get more silverware is something I can't turn down. And that's a point, actually. Jack Byrne came from Shamrock Rovers. And most of the squad are as good as him now. I'm really surprised by how quickly they've got that good, Shamrock. I know they had a cracking spell under Michael O'Neill a few years ago, but this is something else. Matheson wins Young Player of the Month. That's good. It's good seeing that, actually, that they're noting the defenders' clean sheets now towards the rating. I've got to work out what to do with Glenn Ray. I've got to do the same with young Nathan Cooney. He's not got the greatest potential, but we might be able to sell him still. So we've got to think about that side of it as well. And let's go and get into the press conference, because this is a big moment for us. If we can get to the quarterfinals of a European competition, not just financially, but also reputation-wise, we've got to think about building this club to try and compete with the old firm. And while they're doing well in Europe, we've got to do the same. If we have a look at Rangers at the minute, they were in the Champions League group stages. They got to the Europa League knockout round. They lost to Dynamo Kiev. And that's one leg as well. So it must be the Winter World Cup that does it. And then if we go and have a look at Celtic as well, how have they done this season? Again, Europa League first knockout round. Where are their old group games? Oh, there we go. So they're both lost to big sides, but they get into the knockout stages every year, which is important for us. Greeny, Shamrock, basically a mini Celtic. You'll love them then, won't you? Gary, cheating and using my phone for the chat. Absolutely perfect. Thank you all for coming in. It does make a difference having such an active live chat. I remember when I first started these in FM20. Thankfully, I've never had the stage where I've had nobody watching. But I've had a few where there was just 2 or 3 quiet people. And I used to have to think of things to talk about for an hour and a half. And now, as you've seen, I miss most of the goals because I'm busy talking to you guys. So it's a lovely turnaround. And it's definitely the way I'd rather have it. So thank you for coming and getting involved. We will have a second screen next. It's our next investment on the channel. And then hopefully I can keep up with the chat and see what's going on in the game. Right, Michael Duffy, 75 minutes is recommended. But let's see what we can do out of this game. We're going to bring in the stars back. Ted and Mengi will start in place of Finley. He'll go alongside Kerr. And who else have we got? I can't remember who we took out. Stevie Mallam was the other one, wasn't it? So O'Reilly will go into the number 10. Byrne will go back out wide. As will Dembele switch sides. And then it's just a subs bench. So Cornick can't play because we picked Mason Bennett above him. Now Bennett's injured. Cornick can't play there. So we're going to have to go for Darren Watson. And then Baxter can't play either because we couldn't sign him on. So we're going to put Finley on the bench for him. I think that's as good as we can do. Let me know what you think the score will be. Let me know how you think we'll get on. Fingers crossed it'll be a positive day at the office. Because if we lose this one, it's sort of back to square one stage, isn't it? Jacob, we want a Segrist contract extension. No, please don't. Tom, you keep talking about the second screen. Get on with it. Come on, I'm working hard here, Tom. We got a day job as well. No, we will get one eventually. And to be fair, mate, unfortunately, PC monitors aren't cheap. And YouTube ad revenue is still small at a channel my size this stage. So for the investment, unfortunately, it's not quite there yet. But this is going to be a big game. They've got good wing backs. They play a tactic we generally struggle with. And it's been a pretty poor start. But we've got a free kick on the right with Stevie Mallan. If this gets headed away, we're in trouble. Because look at the counter they've got on. Where on earth has the defence gone? All 3 of them just standing back. They've all run out the way. Nossa's gone the whole way through the team. That is inexcusable. They ran out the way. The whole defence ran out the way. Oh, I've got to berate him. That is appalling. What a start, eh? And it's one leg. It's unforgivable. You can't get away with mistakes like that. We've not looked like scoring despite having more of the chances. And now we need something big. As Shankland knocks down for Stevie Mallon. Shot blocked to Mitchell. Shot blocked again to Dembele. Who's going to pick it up and take the ball by the horns? O'Reilly does. And his shot's just down the keeper's left. He gets down to it well. Unfortunately, going to be a long day. Gary, be like me. Use the TV as a second screen. The problem I have in here, so my first PC monitor at the minute is a TV screen. But the PC monitor's here. The TV screen's over there. So I can use them both at the same time. But it would be antisocial, I would say. Because I would be having my back to you half the time. I've tried it with like a tablet and that as well. But it doesn't keep up as well. And then you get the odd thud when you drop it. If you had an iPhone, you could even use a Roku and an AirPlay. Yeah, but I haven't got an iPhone, unfortunately. I'm on the Alcatel still. Cheap technology. That's the way we go. We missed another chance for Dembele. And I've got a sneaky suspicion we're going to go out here. Because prior to seeing the squad, I underestimated this Shamrock side. Even coming into the game, we've underestimated them. And they're making us look awful. Ferrugia has picked it up on the left. He's got a knock, but he's still going. Skins Matheson on the wing, and Matheson gets back at him. Excellent work. Clears downfield. Nobody's there. And that's the one problem with having one up front rather than two. Oh, no. Not like that. No. What do you say about that? Jack Byrne playing a blind back pass. It's not your night, is it? You've just got to accept it. What can you do? Let's go to the dressing room. I mean, we are going to throw everything. Why are they telling us to prove a point? It's been a pathetic performance. I don't care if they're demotivated. We're going to go attacking. We're going to, I don't know, focus the play down the wings, overlap. Let's just fly men forward. Pick up the tempo a bit. Tempted to pick up the passing, but I'm not going to just yet. We're not going to dribble less anymore. But I don't know what else to say. What an appalling way to throw away your European chances. I mean, the second goal just explains everything you need. Charlie, thoughts on Tom Ince at Luton so far? Couple of good hard-working cameos off the bench. Looked decent in the first start. In the second start, he got pulled off at half-time, but it could have been anyone in truth. So, I don't know, mixed so far. But we're probably not going to see the best of him this season. But having someone who can make a contribution, I guess having someone who can run with the ball is something quite nice as well. But obviously at the moment, he's been outshone by Adebayo, which isn't a bad thing for Luton, who needed goals. As McCann gets there, back to Kerr, out to Dembele, it's under hit again. This is, I mean, we've had it all season with Dundee United. 4 steps forward, and then within an hour, we've just taken about 16 back. I don't know what to say about it. I've never seen such an appalling mess hit so quickly at a football club. And it happens every 5 or 6 games. And you just can't get excited for too long here. So I don't really know what to go for. I'm going to take Byrne off. He's nervous. I mean, he should be after what he did. We'll bring Duffy on the left, switch Dembele to the right. O'Reilly's tired, so we'll bring on Mark McNulty and we'll just chuck him up as a shadow striker. I mean, Shankland's been appalling. Not really put much effort into it. I might even chuck him up as a poacher, see what happens. And yeah, I don't know after that. I'll leave the third sub for now. But it's the mentality thing, isn't it? There's not that bite in this side to say, well, let's respond. Let's go and respond and get a result. It's not there. Siegrist has had a poor game in goal again. It comes out to the right to Dembele. Back into McCann. Shankland picks it up. The one thing I was hoping for, if we could just get through a few rounds here, to the quarters or the semis, is that prize money would pay for some replacements in the summer. But as it stands, look at that. Look at the state of that. It is a 5-yard pass. You've got a chance to cross into the box unmarked. And you've tried to play blind as McNulty gets it back. Can we get a goal we don't deserve? We can't. McNulty drags his shot closer to the corner flag. And we are in big, big trouble in Europe. I mean, you could virtually say we're out at this point. as Matheson's got a throw on the right. Dembele down for him again. Cross the ball, please. Dembele does. Headed away. And on the counter they come. Kerr gets there first. Mallon finds Mitchell. Duffy on the left side. Challenged too easily. We're not even putting a tackle in. Kerr gets it a centre-half to Duffy. Someone go forwards. Go forwards. Mallon tries to switch it. It's under hit again. This, I can't explain. We've played brilliantly again for 4 or 5 matches, and now we're going against every tactical instruction and not playing sensibly. As Duffy gets it on the left-hand side, beats one man. That's going to be a second yellow. Now it's a chance. We've got 10 men for 17 minutes. It means they're going to camp in, but can we survive? That's the question. I don't think so. They're going very narrow. They're going 5 at the back. And we've only got 9 minutes. As Mitchell throws into Duffy. Chance to cross. Goes back to Mallon. Everyone's playing safe. Deliver the ball. Please, someone cross it. McCann's challenge. Gets it back. Plays to Mitchell. Why won't anyone take a touch? McCann gives it away. It's absolutely ridiculous. I've got to have a look at these instructions. We're going to take off the plane shorter. We're going to play a bit wider. But I don't know what to say. I really don't. O'Driscoll clears it downfield. Mitchell will get there. Now can we make it count? Kerr to McCann. He's had a shocker today, actually, Ali McCann. Dembele's got Matheson on the overlap. Doesn't find him, but the challenge naturally falls for him. Crosses in. Mallon's there. Blocked to Dembele. And it's in off the defender. 9 minutes to go. It's 2-1. And we've now got a chance. I'll catch up with the chat in a second. Let's just see what we can do with this, because we need something big pretty quickly. We have to get the second goal. If we get to extra time with 10 men against them, we should be able to do it. But it doesn't look like it's coming. Higher tempo. Run at the defence. Be more expressive. Just anything. Anything to get it going. I think it's too late. We're going to push the lines right up now. I know it leaves us open at the back, but let's go for it. 2 minutes plus stoppages. It doesn't matter at this point. We have to throw everything at it, but we are going out to 10-man Shamrock Rovers. The goal that gave it away is beyond a joke. And Dundee United, after, 2, 3, 4 excellent performances, right back to square one. It happens every single month. We throw one of these in. And these players, when the pressure's really on, they're gutless. And that's the problem. Until we can replace 4 or 5 of them, which we're not going to be able to afford to do now, we get stuck in the same rut. Gary, do you think Brentford will make it to the Premiership? Don't know. I really don't know, because, I mean, we've been talking about this every week on the podcast Championship predictions, and going forward, they've got everything. Ivan Toney's going to score 30, 35 goals. But David Ray has been a liability since last season and is still one now. Defensively, I know they've brought Winston Reid in to add that experience, but there's still a naivety. So, looking at the other sides, I think Norwich will be certainties. I still think Watford might creep up there. Bournemouth are a bit of the unknown at the moment, and Swansea look better as well. So I'd have to say that I can't see beyond the playoffs as it stands, but unless Tony can fire them past Swansea. That's my only thought. And what about Mick McCarthy's Cardiff? If they keep going the way they are, they'll be up there in no time. So we're out of Europe despite getting one of the friendliest ties. And we've got a lot of reflecting to do after that result and performance. Because the performance, it's not like Shamrock didn't deserve to get through. I don't see where the end of the tunnel is at this team. Because we haven't got the money to invest. And we haven't got the quality to progress. And one of those things has to happen for the other. So it now becomes about winning the Scottish Cup. I know we've got another game that's going to be high pressure, and then we've probably got Rangers in the final. But it's our best chance. And of course we picked the first team for Shamrock to throw the Celtic game because they're 48 hours apart. And now we're going to lose both, I'd imagine. And to have, well, it's not even 48 hours, is it? What time do we play on a Thursday night? So 6 o'clock Thursday, and then 3 o'clock on a Saturday, it's 45 hours break from the start of the game. Thank you to everyone popping in as well. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. It does make such a difference. Come and get involved down in the chat as always. Let us know who your team's playing this evening. And fingers crossed we can bounce back from this. I'm not expecting much from the Celtic game, but at least if we can give Ayr a match, that would be good. But otherwise, I mean, we're going to have to play a lot of reserves in this game, and it could go completely wrong. If we lose 4, 5 or 6... And it ended up working the other way for Shamrock, didn't it? They had the team that wasn't match fit, but they weren't fatigued. So our team is absolutely shattered. And there are some in there I can't explain. Like Mallon's got a medium match load and he's absolutely exhausted. But his levels of fatigue are low. So why is he so unfit? I don't know what it is with this side. But either way, Nathan Baxter will come in goal. At fullbacks, we're going to have Dehaney, we're going to have Boys, and at centre-half, we are going to have Nielsen alongside Finley. I'm not sure about the wingers and strikers yet, we'll come back to that. McNulty's definitely up front. Cornick will be on one wing, let's say Sporrell on the other. What are our midfield options? Because Duffy's still there. And he's not come back in yet. So we're actually a little bit short in terms of central options. Glenn Ray's obviously fit. And none of them can really play in the middle. I mean, Sporrell can play centre midfield competently. Duffy can't play in the middle at all. Cornick can play number 10 at a push. So we'll put Watson in as the right winger. Cornick number 10. And then we'll put Sporrell in central midfield with Duffy on the left. I think it's all we can do. Although I have got Davenport, so he could come in. Who for, though? Watson? Then we can go left wing for Sporrell, right wing for Duffy, Davenport in the middle. Watson on the bench. Are there any other youngsters? Should we just put all the youngsters on? Why not? There's no harm in it, is there? I can only apologise for the agonising over team selection, but I'm running out of ideas very fast here. I've got a feeling there's a crisis round the corner. So we'll see how right that prediction is. Byrne can go on the bench just as punishment for his performance on Thursday and that goal that he conceded. There we go. Celtic away. It is not the tactic we want to be playing. It is not the way we want to go. But 11 changes made and touch wood, we can just cling on for dear life. That's all we can really hope for at this point. So let's go and get into it. We're going to ask the lads to prove a point because they've got a hell of a lot to do after midweek. We're going to drop the wing-backs to defend. We're going to drop to a balanced mentality. And duties. Deep line playmaker on defend for Davenport. Centre midfielder on defend for Ray. Cornick's probably best as a shadow striker. He's not really natural at any of the roles. And Sporrell's better as a winger as well. So we're as defensive and well-shaped as we can be. But I don't think this is going to stop us losing by a number of goals. Let's go and see how right I am, shall we? Thank you to everyone coming in as well. Do appreciate it. I hope you've been enjoying the videos as well. Obviously, the recent club change in the head coach. A massive episode in that tomorrow. It's a defining one for the series. And it is more tense than... It's probably up there with the Wigan beat of the final stream for the level of tension. As Catrone gets in, Finley intercepts. Good defending. And hopefully we survive it. But they're the only questions we have left now. Which is, how many do we lose this by? How badly does tomorrow's head coach go? There's a lot of worries across the board. As Henderson picks it up to Singh. Ray intercepts, but it's straight back to another Celtic body. That's the problem at the minute. They've got just too much quality. And Helder Costa this time puts the shot wide. But they've got him far too easily. And that's definitely an area of concern. But 15 minutes gone, no shots on target. I guess we can't complain too much, can we? At the moment, we would have taken that at the start. As they pick it up on the right-hand side again with Henderson. Through ball straight to Baxter. And it's cleared downfield pretty comfortably. How far is it going to go is the main question. Very long. McNulty finds Sporrell. We couldn't do it to them again, could we? We can't. We go backwards. Davenport picks it up. In the centre circle. No real pressure on him. Finds Michael Duffy. That's a poor through ball. I mean, look at Celtic's centre-halves this year. Tanganga alongside Bednarek is a very good standard. They've got Palistri on loan as well. Helder Costa on the other wing. It's a wonderful side. Who's in the middle up front? That's the other question. Was it Catrone? It is. It's a very good football team. And probably going to win them the SPL this year after the last couple of years. They're 12 points clear already. Gary, I think the head coach is my favourite way to play FM. I mean, it's something I have always enjoyed. I wanted to try it as soon as the Director of Football mode came in. And it just works because, I mean, this year's not a good example of it because we've had a meteoric rise. But generally, you've seen every other year we've had a sacking, we've had a delay, we've had a frustrating year, we've had slow sides where we've had to play players out of the youth team. It's the natural restriction that FM doesn't have. It's basically realism mode, isn't it? Which is, you're not in charge of everything. You can't have it your own way. And it does sort of stunt that growth. Because when we play one club stories, we've all got a natural tendency to try and hold on to our players. We grow attached to them. It's not like a Peterborough in real life, or even my club Luton, where you say, we need to balance the books, this player's going once we get an offer of 5 million. You say, oh, I'm going to hold on to him because he's brilliant and I can make the money elsewhere. Whereas realistically, it doesn't work that way. So the head coach I always find brilliant for that reason, because you don't have that say. Wapos, good evening. Thank you for popping in. Do appreciate it as always. Lovely to have so many of the regulars in today. As we've gone 1-0 down to Celtic, it's not even worth mentioning now. John, loving the head coach. Looking forward to tomorrow's episode. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It is a tense one. It's dramatic to say the least. But we always knew it was going to be. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm loving both series this year. I am slightly missing not doing one of those sort of English build a club up from bottom to top, but the Builder Nation works a treat, so we'll keep rotating them. As Helder Costa gets in, cross to the ball, Nathan Baxter makes a good save. We've got 19 minutes left to go. I'm going to make a few changes. Cornick's going to be replaced by Malcolm. Darren Watson's going to come on for McNulty, who's had a woeful game. And then do I take off Duffy? Probably. Oh, I don't know. I'm not so sure, actually. Let's take off Boys. We'll bring on Callum Donaldson. The 3 youngsters get a run out. Finn Malcolm's best as a shadow striker. We would have assumed that anyway. And Boys can clear it downfield before he comes off. But thank you everyone for the kind words. I'm glad you're enjoying the head coach as well. I guess the best thing about it, all in all, is it's always different. It's always completely different. Like we had the first year where we started and we got stuck in the National League for years. We had the second year where we ended up getting sacked in England, sacked in Northern Ireland and having to rebuild from scratch again. And started basically with 2 years of disaster. We had last year where it was a pretty meteoric rise to the Championship. And then we got a tycoon club, got sacked and then had to rebuild from League One. And then, you know, FM19 we never got to an elite club, but then FM20 we did. It's weird the way it works out. This year, I don't know what's going to happen. Because obviously tomorrow's episode will probably decide what's going to happen to the fate of that series for the next 3 or 4 seasons. And obviously if we do end up in relegation trouble, you're all going to be screaming in my face that I'd made a big mistake, which I'm well prepared for if that does happen. But it's going to be interesting. Thank you to everyone coming in as well. Lovely to have so many of you here on a Tuesday evening. I know lockdown's ending soon, so we might have to tweak times and that for work. But generally speaking, it's lovely to have you all in. And I'm glad you're still enjoying your time with me. My camera's on the blink again, so I'm just trying to get myself actually in the picture. Because as much as my face isn't the prettiest thing in the world, it is pointless it being here if you're staring at a wall, isn't it? We're only 1 thumbs up from double figures, so if you haven't yet, please do chuck one on. I've also been asking before, if anyone else has ever made like content or videos or whatever, does anyone know what the difference between Twitch and YouTube is? Because everyone keeps telling me to do streams on Twitch, and I have no idea what the difference is in essence. Ferrugia is rated 2.5 star in the scout reports, so nothing to be gained out of that. And I mean, I guess that wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. Only a 1-0 defeat. I mean, it's annoying because of what happened 2 days before, but it was a good performance. So we get to Ayr United on Tuesday, and as it stands, we're still third. So that's the game we have to bounce back. Motherwell have played 1 game less. Hibs have played 3 games more. And Aberdeen face Motherwell tomorrow. We could do with a draw or an Aberdeen win, in truth. I don't know which one's more likely to threaten come the end of the season. Fingers crossed, this isn't going to turn into a crisis. 2 defeats in a row. I mean, we saw what happened in December when we had to change tactic, in January when it all went wrong very quickly. So I mean, I've got so much fear in me now. It doesn't take much with this side. I think everyone else is tired or fit, so it's just going to be Newman in the youth team. And Ayr have just had a consortium takeover, so the fans are going to be bouncing. I just noticed that in the news items. Aberdeen do beat Motherwell. There you go. Former Luton player George Moncur and former Luton player's own goal from Stephen O'Donnell. Look how tight that is. 4 teams separated by 1 point. Us, Aberdeen, Hibs and Motherwell. We're basically equal quality, equal ambition, equal progress elsewhere. I don't actually know how the other teams that are in Europe have done. In fact, I think it was Hamilton, wasn't it? Because Hamilton were the side that finished 3rd. So did they get through? I don't know how they got on. They did. They went out to Astana in the first knockout round. And then who were the other team that got to Europe? It was Motherwell. So how did Motherwell get on? They were in the Europa Conference groups. They were in the first knockout. Second knockout, they lost to Leicester. So we've all reached the same round and all fallen at the same hurdle. And that's the limit at the minute. Gary, I find it helps me concentrate on tactics. Yeah, you have to focus on that. And I guess when things go wrong, you get more inclined to get involved with training and the bits of the games you'd normally ignore. Like, I always find that in those saves, the things like the mentoring groups and that are so important because you're going to be reliant on those youth players and you want them to have the best mentality. So I guess balance it. If I'm doing it, so I normally have 2 main saves. If I have one like a Build a Nation or a Build a Club that's hands-on, and then I have the head coach, one, you can get through the transfer windows and that quicker. But also, in the 2 saves, you're almost playing 2 different games. Because one is so focused on transfers and players and contracts and signings and staff. And then the other one is training, is tactics, is making sure that you get the best out of the players you've got. And it almost becomes like football manager and football coach, which I find quite enjoyable. Twitch doesn't work on a Roku. Does it not? I mean, I don't really know how Twitch works. The only thing that obviously is a possibility is you've got more of an audience in terms of FM people on there that will have an audience watching at the same time. But otherwise, I don't really know what the difference is. Let's have a look. Because I always used to annoy me when everyone switched to Twitch was that you couldn't then watch it on Xbox at the time, but whatever. Yeah, doesn't look like it. So I'm not quite sure. It's something we'll look into in the future, but for now, I'm quite happy how we are. I might just do like the odd one. Maybe do a little once a week thing over there. Do one on here, one on there. See what happens. Then based on the year, whichever one does best, we can do on long term then. Right, we've been recommended to make 11 changes to face Ayr. We're going to do it, obviously. And we should be back to what was our first 11. I don't know if I want to start Jack Byrne. And they always put Darren Watson in the team. Who would it normally be? It would normally be Stevie Mallon. So Mallon's going to go in there. I don't know that I want Jack Byrne in my team today. So I think I'm going to put... Duffy's not fit. So I'm going to go for Harry Cornick, I think. Or maybe just on the bench. So I've got an easy take-off if I need it. I mean, the bench they've picked is bordering on scandalous. So let's go and change that up a bit. No midfielders whatsoever. Boys will go off there. I think that's what we're going to leave it as. So back to full strength. We need something special. But as you can see, bar a couple of lone players and Shankland, we've basically got an average side of 3-star players performing hit and miss. So let's see what they do today. Hopefully, It's more hit than miss. But 11 changes in successive games is probably not a good thing for sustainability of a club. Greeny, Stevie Mallan. See, I used to call him Stevie Milan and Stevie Milan, and now I get told to call him Stevie Mallan. Gary, except when you have a requirement to get Argentina players you can't get. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on with that. But do you know what? That made it part of the fun as well. Because you had to work a little bit differently. What I would say, based on that, is it probably delayed the Build a Nation by 2 or 3 years. And I think if we'd been succeeding after 3 seasons, it would have got really boring quickly. And if that hadn't been happening in a transfer window, we never would have bottled the title in season 3. We never would have missed out on loan signings. So you could argue that it's actually made the save more enjoyable longer term. But I guess that's an interesting debate point. Should you naturally hamper yourself? As Byrne gives it to McCann at the back, we need a quick start here. I'm going to dread every back pass now as well. As Kerr gets it into Mallan, out to Tyrick Mitchell. Then Bele on the left-hand side. Need a big performance from him as a star man. Finally back to full fitness and looks absolutely sublime here. Oh, just wide. Runs the pitch as people running away from him in fear. And almost produces a very magical moment there. A dominant start but no goal. Are we going back to that again? Shankland off form. McNulty off form. Greeny winding me up again. Naughty boy. Half an hour gone and now Ayr United on the front foot. Are we going to regret all those missed chances again? Or are we going to nick it here as O'Reilly picks it up high up the pitch? He's got Shankland in the middle. We need a goal. It's coming to the back post. Shankland's there. Anywhere other than the defender's sliding foot. And we're 1-0 up. As McCann picks it up to Matheson. Right side of the box. There's 4 in the middle. Can't find the cross. And McCann. Oh dear. What sort of effort's that? And there you go. The expected goals goes above 1 now. But we haven't got a goal to show for it. And that's going to be the regret come the end of the game, isn't it? As Muirhead throws in for Ayr. Kerr clears it. Shankland's 1-on-1. Has to score here. Where's the Ayr United defence gone? Shankland gets in. Oh my words. Shankland's put it wide. It is an absolute sitter. I've got a feeling there might be a goal drought round the corner here. We're going to pump the fist. Tell them to prove a point. But if you can't score those chances, we ain't got a hope. Just as we clawed our way back up to third. I mean, we say this all the time, don't we? Every Sunday seems to be a positive stream with good results, and every Tuesday night seems to be a disaster. Obviously, the Sunday's moved to Saturday now, but aside from that, the rest has stayed the same. So just for anyone who missed out last week while you're all here, this week and moving forward, the live streams are Saturday morning instead of Sunday morning at 10:30, just because I'm working most Sundays. So apologies for any inconvenience, but it's enforced logistically. Then Bele's going to come off on the left. He'll be replaced by Cornick. We might switch sides. No, I don't think so. In fact, we'll take them both off. Byrne can go off for Watson. And Ali McCann, we haven't really got a good enough backup. I tell you what, let's go for Mallan and O'Reilly. I don't know who's the best defender out of the two. Probably Mallan, actually. Mallan, O'Reilly, and number 10 can be McNulty. Shadow striker, let's get him behind. But it's not that we haven't played well or created chances in this game. We have missed a number of brilliant opportunities. And Lawrence Shankland's coming into a goal drought at the worst possible time. With 10 minutes to go, we've had 16 shots. Our expected goals is nearly 2.5. And it's 0-0. And this is what I mean about Dundee United and the inconsistency. It's now an Ayr corner. If they score from here, I might have a tantrum. As Shankland picks it up on the right-hand side. Please get us the goal we deserve. McNulty's in. Has to score. Does score. No less than we deserve. A fantastic moment. Shankland turns provider because he was never scoring himself. And it's Dundee United 1, Ayr 0. And that is going to be crucial in the race for third place. We go 3 points clear. And my words, we made it hard work, but we thoroughly deserved it on the performance. Craigie did literally shank it. Thank you for popping in. But it doesn't matter in the end. We've got there. And we've got the result. That's all that matters. Thank you to everyone coming in. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Thank you for helping us reach 2,300 subscribers. I did say it earlier. But to have gained 1,000 since the new game came out less than 4 months ago, to almost double the channel size is incredible. So thank you for your support. We've done the same over on the podcast channel. We're going to click over to 1,000 any day now by the looks of it. So we couldn't ask for much more, really. It's been a fantastic growth. And we've got one more game to get through this evening as well. Yes, come and buy him. Bid £5-6 million and take O'Reilly off us so we don't lose any more of our young stars. And hopefully we can get Mockery back on loan next year. If we look at the schedule, we're going to play Dunfermline still. And then what I'll try and do is I'll try and get all the way through to like St Mirren off camera. Or maybe Aberdeen, because they're the top 6 clubs. We'll see where we are at that point. Greeny, more subscribers than Dundee United season ticket holders. I think that's pushing it a bit. I did overtake the Ballymena one for the mobile series. I overtook their average gate, which was quite nice. Sort of things I hadn't dreamt of doing. And it'd be nice later down the line if we could help a club. You've probably seen one of the others, Loki, did it with Fort William. And he's doing it now with Basingstoke. I'd love to do something like that with one of our local clubs. So fingers crossed in the future. That'll be able to happen. But we're probably a long way off that yet. Craig Savage, wow indeed. There is a lot of excitement on this channel and that one. I'm just seeing if there's any team news for Luton yet, but I'm 15 minutes early, I've just realised. Because that would have been a big talking point based on what happened at the weekends. Gary, what's the name of your podcast channel? It's The Honest Football Podcast. If Craig's good, he'll find a link to the channel for you. But we're very proud of it. We've been, since lockdown, we've sort of found our style and we've been working hard. We've been lucky. I mean, a lot of pros have helped us out coming on and being interviewed and things like that. And we just try to be balanced. So, you know, we got a bit bored of the Premier League top 6 TalkSport stuff. So, a bit of fun with championship predictions, some serious manager specials and interviews with pros, which have really opened our eyes to a few things, which has been quite nice too. But the race for third place is on, and what I don't like about this game against Dunfermline is it's the sort of one where we've traditionally slipped up. It's the sort of one where we've gone 3 or 4 games doing well, and then away to 11th or 12th place, as we've got the next 2 games, it just drifts off at the wrong time. I was expecting, to be brutally honest, to have another Europa Conference tie today as well. I honestly believed we'd get past Shamrock till I saw their team. Then I knew it was beyond a banana skin. But, having said all of that, we've got this big game. And if we win this, you could argue it's still a good stream until now. I don't know what to say. Jason Kerr has got a back stress fracture. He's out for 8 weeks, which essentially means the season. And means that beyond Finlay and Mengi, who will be starting, we've got one youngster in Lewis Nielsen and a centre midfielder in Glenn Ray covering. Oh, it's not good. I'm not a big fan of what's going on this season. It's been a very frustrating one. Gary, I enjoy the championship more. It seems to be more competitive. Exactly. It's thunder and guts. Obviously, it helps that for me and Craig, we both support Luton. So, it's natural for us anyway. And it's a more enjoyable league. It's a bit more accessible. I mean, we've been able to speak to a lot of players that have either played at championship level or are involved in the EFL now, which has been really great. And it's just a bit more of that community feel still. Charlie, Michael Newbury not even on the bench for Linfield. Interesting. I wonder why. Maybe it's a fitness thing. You just don't know. Right, let's go and have a look at this lineup. So we've definitely got Finlay coming in at centre half. And that means Boys will have to be on the bench. After that, I'm at a bit of a loss. I think we're going to go for much the same team because they played well. I mean, you could argue Dembele off and maybe Duffy in, but Duffy's got a heavy match load still. And coming back from injury as he has, I don't want to rush him in. Because the last thing we want, like Bennett, is 1 game in, 2 games out, and same and same and same. So what's the Stevie Mallon situation here? Remains some way short of full fitness. He only had 2 days with a tight calf. I'm going to leave it the same. Final game of the afternoon. Touchwood, we don't lose. Because if we do, it will turn it from an okay stream into a poor one. Going out of Europe means it can't be a good one, but semi-final of the Cup and a winnable game against the bottom team in the league, it's got to be said. And a chance to really cement third with a few games to go until the season break. Or the league split, sorry. We just want to start pulling away from these teams. Motherwell have played the same games as us, so they're the one we're keeping an eye on. And if we can stay ahead of the others, having played less games, it's exactly what we want. As with 15 minutes gone, again, we've had the first shot on target, but not look like scoring. And look, Stuart Finley's possibly suffered a bruised ankle. Well, he's going to have to play. If we go 3 or 4 up, we'll replace him, but I don't see that based on our finishing in the last match. As O'Reilly gets it 25 yards out. Mallon switches left to Mitchell. 3 in the box. Has to find them. Has to pick somebody out. Picks up Jack Byrne. And he's starting to make up for his gift at Shamrock. Trying to get himself back. Oh, Greeny, what are you on about, son? Ready for another one of your questions? I have absolutely no idea. I mean, why that question for a start? I'll let everyone else answer it as well. I would probably go the latter, because the sense of smell is important. That's the only reason I can come up with. Oh, that was nearly a 2-footed tackle. Who's number 18 there? Was that O'Reilly? That can't have been. It must have been Matheson 18 with the one obscured. Over the top, Zanzala's in. Poor defending. And thankfully, an even worse finish. Not many fans in the home end here. It's 2-0. Dembele and Byrne to the rescue. But it still looks a little bit suspect. It's not as good a performance, ironically, as the last game where we crept a last-minute winner. As Norris goes long downfield. McCann heads it downfield. It's only as far as Martin. Over the top. Oh, it's awful defending. Ted Mengi is supposed to be the best player at the club. And he's been turned around by a hoof over the top. The positional sense is all out of shape. It's awful. And it's given Dunfermline a lifeline in this match. Their only shot on target. And the only 2 real chances they've had are both identical. And they're both Mengi switching off, despite his good positioning, despite his good game management normally. Finley's having a poor game with his knock. I don't know whether just to gamble and take him off. As Williams comes in, should have been 2-2. I can't wait any longer. I've got to take him off. Morgan Boyes will come on. He's not great in that position, but he'll do a job for now. And hopefully, as Shanklin continues the goal drought, we can keep a way of winning this. Stevie Mallon looks exhausted. He's going to be replaced by... It's going to have to be a number 10 with O'Reilly dropping in. Though O'Reilly's not much fitter there. So into the number 10 goes... Who? McNulty maybe? Or No, I'm going to go Cornick. I'm going to put Byrne in the number 10. Cornick off the right wing for a bit of added pace on the break. I'm going to put McCann alongside Ray. He's going to be a central midfielder on defend. And we're just going to try and sit that little bit deeper. Try and keep them penned in. And hopefully it will work out for us. In fact, I might give Cornick and Dembele a switch. Because I think, if I'm not wrong, Cornick's the better finisher. He is. And not quite as good crossing the ball. So we're going to go Dembele on the right, Cornick on the left. And 15 minutes to hang on. Charlie loves a greeny question. El Gaming, thank you for popping in. Lovely to see some of the regulars again. Thank you all for coming in and your support this evening. It is appreciated. Greeny's getting Charlie to answer that question. At least I'm not the only one who's got to. As the ball through, oh, Mengi's done it again. What has happened to Ted and Mengi? And how... It's happened again. We've clutched a poor result from the jaws of a good one. I'm running out of words for this side because I'm not quite sure how a mentality can be that fragile. Oh, we've scored. Cornick shots blocked. Shanklin couldn't miss. And we're 3-2 up. I don't know what to say. Sometimes a football team just leaves you speechless. And this team, in seasons 2 and 3 this year, has consistently done that. As they've got the ball in goal again, the fact that we've taken the lead with 3 minutes to go, I'm not even half confident we'll win this game. We've got another one in 3 days' time with a team that's completely shattered. Morgan Boys has come on off the bench at centre-half and looks woeful. Mengi's not going to be fit in 3 days, so who knows what we do. Dembele tries to slide in the number 10, doesn't even read it. Norris clears it downfield. Who knows what will happen. We could lose this 4-3 yet. Glen Ray's run out the way of the ball. It's just hectic. It's chaos. We're going to go and be a bit more defensive. We're going to drop 2. Balanced mentality. Wing-backs on defend. We've got to protect those fragile centre-halves today. I don't know beyond that. I think we stick with the rest as it is. We're going to start time wasting. We're going to be more disciplined. We're going to slow it down, hold our shape. You all know the drill now. There's the time wasting. Drop the lines of engagement. Don't press as high. And just make sure you don't concede another blooming goal. Gelman did a Q&A on Monday, a fan page with a footballer. Fantastic. It's been our favourite part of the podcast is interviewing pros. It really is enjoyable. We do cling on for a 3-2 victory. But yeah, they're a lot more human than they're made out to be once you get out of the Premier League. Charlie, no comment. Andrew Green with a classic dad joke. There you go. And we have cemented 3rd place. What we're just going to do... Are there any games left this weekend? No. Only Livingston Rangers, which doesn't really affect us. Finley out for 1 to 3 days. Dembele 1 to 2. So everyone's just starting to pick up those muscle knocks now. They're starting to pick up those little short-term ones. And that's what concerns me. What we're going to do, based on the schedule, is I think we'll try and get through the next few games off camera. Because I don't want this season to drag on for too long. We'll get through St Mirren, Livingston and Ayr. We'll come back for Aberdeen, Hibs, who are fighting directly with us the 3rd. The Scottish Cup semi-final. And then whatever the first 2 games of the league split are. So it should be 2 more episodes this season then. And that will take us through nicely to the 4-day break to then get through the off-season. But, I mean, it's not a bad stream in the grand scheme of things. Bar the Celtic game, we were good in the league. We got through in the cup. But that Shamrock game, financially and reputation-wise, is the thing that's going to hold us back. And that's the one at the start of the day I would have said I would like to have won. El Gaming, are we close to being sacked? Not anymore. So we're expected to finish 3rd, and we look like we're cementing that. We're into the semi-final. We're into the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. I just got stopped in my trap by Greeny's childish comment. But we got to the Scottish Cup semi. We got further in Europe than they thought. We said the group stages. So I'm pretty happy. Greeny, I hear that one basically every day. You forget I work in the NHS, mate. So you won't be the first time this week I've heard that one. But that's where we are at the moment. 3 games off camera. We'll be back on Saturday morning at 10:30 for the Cup semi-final and some big league matches in the race for 3rd. And then we'll finish off the season next Tuesday before a big transfer special. And I mean, actually, if we go out of the Cup and wrap up 3rd place, I mean, I hope we don't go out to St Mirren, then we probably won't even show the last couple of games. We'll just move on to next pre-season. But as it is, that's the plan. So if you did enjoy this one and you haven't yet, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. If you were late in, not to worry, there's a full live stream replay afterwards on the channel. Please do check out today's episode of Bangor City, a big one in the playoff for Europe. And then we've also got a massive one in the head coach tomorrow. So please do give it a try if you haven't before. It's tense, it's dramatic, and it's going to be exciting. Greeny's not happy I didn't want his joke. I'm sorry, mate. I have to call them out when we get them. And please do check out the podcast channel too. If you haven't subscribed yet, we're now 23 away from 1,000. So if you can go over and click the button, it does make such a difference to us. But thank you so much for your incredible support as always. I'll see you again here live on Saturday morning. Thanks for watching.